Let's do this.
Yo, what is going on, you guys? This is GamingWithSal. Welcome back to the channel. So it's August 1st, which means Modern Warfare's multiplayer has finally been revealed to us, and a lot of other YouTubers out there who have gotten to play the game early and were invited by Infinity Ward and Activision have already started going ahead and uploading their videos to their channels on various different gameplays that they got of the game, and you guys can go ahead and check that out. I think if you're a big Call of Duty fan and you're subscribed to a pretty good amount of Call of Duty channels out there, your sub boxes are probably filled with a lot of different videos covering this game, which I absolutely love because I love this time of year when it comes to Call of Duty, right? The hype is real, people are excited for the next game, and honestly, when it comes down to Modern Warfare, there's a lot of stuff to actually be excited for, and I want to go ahead and share my first impressions with you guys of what I thought about after I saw the gameplays myself and just how I feel about Modern Warfare altogether now in terms of the multiplayer. So, of course, there was a lot of information that was revealed to us today, and I'm not really going to sit here and break down every single one of those bits and pieces of information because I feel like a ton of other YouTubers have already done that and have already been ahead of the game way before I can even put a video together for you guys. So by the time I do that, I'm pretty sure you guys would already have all the information yourself. So instead, I want to go ahead and talk about some of the things that really stood out to me, and once again, just want to give my first impressions, my overall thoughts about some of the things that really stood out to me from today's reveal. So first off, I want to go ahead and talk about the kill streaks. Now, if you guys have been following my channel for quite a while now, you know that when it comes down to a Call of Duty game, the one thing I'm always looking at are the streaks, because I believe that the kill streaks or the score streaks, whatever system that the developers decide to use for that specific game, is what is going to make the multiplayer enjoyable for the most part. Because let's be honest, every single time we enter a match in multiplayer, we always want to get at least some of our streaks, if not all of our streaks, in every single match we play. And if you have powerful streaks, that makes it much more enjoyable to play than if you had some very boring streaks or streaks that really didn't put that much work in. And it's safe to say that when it comes down to Modern Warfare, these kill streaks put in some work, and that's really exciting for me as a Call of Duty fan, especially the kind of fan who has been playing since the days of Modern Warfare 2. But as you guys can see on your screen, I'm just gonna go ahead and roll through some of the kill streaks that are in this game. I believe there are 16 in total. There are quite a few of them that really stand out to me, such as the infantry assault vehicle, which is basically a tank that gets dropped into the middle of the map, and you actually get to control the tank and move it around and fire at your enemies and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty cool to me. Another streak that I am really excited to see come back are the Harriers, except in this game it's called, I think, the VTOL Air Support or something like that. I forgot the exact name of it, but it's pretty much the Harriers from Modern Warfare 2, which we haven't seen since Modern Warfare 2. So it's been almost 10 years since a streak like this has come back to Call of Duty, which is, like I said, very exciting. The Chopper Gunner is back, which is my absolutely favorite kill streak of the entire Call of Duty franchise. This streak was something special back in Modern Warfare 2. It was something special back in Black Ops 1, and honestly, we haven't really seen any sort of streak come back that is very similar to the Chopper Gunner that many times. Maybe I think there was something called a Helo Pilot and Ghost that pretty much played out very similarly to the Chopper Gunner here in Modern Warfare 2019, but the point is, I don't know, the Chopper Gunner with its original name and the way that it originally looked back in Modern Warfare 2 coming back into Modern Warfare 2019, it just gives me goosebumps, and I cannot wait to be able to earn this. And that's another thing, right? These are kill streaks, not score streaks. So as an example, the Chopper Gunner is only going to take 10 kills in a row to be able to get, versus something crazy like, I don't know, 1200, 1300 points in a game such as Domination where you only get 50 points per kill. I don't know. The point is, I'm glad that these streaks look like they're going to be very easily attainable versus some of the past Call of Duty titles we've seen in the franchise's history for the past few years, and I'm just overall excited. The AC-130 looks dope in this. The Juggernaut suit looks amazing as well. These streaks look very promising, and that's something that I'm super excited about when it comes down to this game. The only thing I'm concerned about though is that since we're going back to kill streaks, people might not be as motivated to probably play the objective as much in game modes such as Domination, Hardpoint, etc., because the score you earn from those objectives don't really affect the way you get your streaks now. So will that technically cause camping? I'm not really sure about that, but I'll go ahead and address more of these type of concerns towards the end of the video. Next up, I want to go ahead and talk about the Gunsmith, or the create a class feature or system, whatever whatever you want to call it here in Modern Warfare, because the attachments that come with each weapon are insane. First of all, there are about 60 attachments for almost all of the primary weapons individually. And no, you did not hear me wrong, 60 attachments for one weapon. Secondaries, I think it only about maybe 30 attachments, but that's still insane. And what's so cool about these attachments is that it tells you some of the benefits that you're going to be getting from using this specific attachment, but then it also tells you some of the cons or the downsides of using certain attachments as well. So in a way, it's like you're going to be getting something positive, but you have to give up something in return to be able to get that ability, which really makes you think about what attachments you want to put on your weapons, what combinations you want to make with these attachments, and basically trying to customize your weapons the way that you play as a player in Call of Duty. If you're a rusher, you might want to go ahead and attach attachments that cater to that type of playstyle, or if you're kind of like a stealthy, laid-back type of player, once again, you can use specific attachments to match that play type, which I really love. And it makes sense for a game such as Call of Duty, because at the end of the day, our weapons are our main characters in a way, because we don't actually see the actual character that we play as. We see our weapon 90% of the time whenever we're playing something like Call of Duty. So to make a game such as Modern Warfare that focuses so much on weaponry, I love it. So that's another cool thing that I'm really liking that's coming to Modern Warfare this year. Also, when it comes down to create a class, there is no pick 10 system anymore. The way that the create a class works now is similar to how Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3's create a class system work, where you basically have a primary slot, a secondary slot, you have your 3 perk slots, a tactical slot, and finally a lethal slot. And what's cool is that automatically from the get-go, your primary and secondary weapons have 5 attachment slots that you can fill up. So in a way, a lot of customization and no need to, use wild cards to be able to get more attachments on your weapons. None of that anymore. You can go up to 5 attachments for all weapons and still keep all 3 of your perks, which I'm really also liking a lot, because the pick 10 system is amazing in my opinion, but it's really cool to see them bring back the old school create a class system, but also kind of ante it up in a way, or upgrade it to where we can still customize a lot on our weapons and just our entire create a class in general. Now, another thing that really stood out to me when it came to the multiplayer reveal is the gameplay of the night vision. So basically that confirms one thing in itself, and that is the maps that we're going to be getting to play here in Modern Warfare will have day versions and night versions. And of course, during the night versions is when you will be able to toggle on and off your night vision goggles. And I gotta say, man, the way night vision looks in this game is amazing. Like, it looks pretty realistic. There was one gameplay I was watching during the live stream on the official Call of Duty channel, and it looked like that they were playing some sort of trailer or some sort of actual movie scene when they were playing with night vision on. It was insane, right? So the new engine looks amazing overall, and the way night vision works is also very cool. And I like how they added that variation to the multiplayer, because it kind of brings something new to the table, but also keeping the game very close to that idea where they want it to be as realistic as possible. And then when it comes down to gameplay, you guys, overall, I want to go ahead and discuss about a few things that once again stood out to me. The minimap is not going to be part of multiplayer. At first, I didn't know how to feel about this, but then later on when I saw that they actually replaced the default minimap with a compass on the top instead, and it actually shows you where the enemies are shooting from depending on where you're facing within the map, it still kind of helps you to be able to locate enemies. But I see why they went ahead and decided to take away the minimap. I feel like they want you to focus more on actually watching out for your surroundings, checking your environment, instead of having to always glance up to the top left corner every 2 or 3 seconds. Now, if you're someone who's still concerned about the minimap not being in the game, don't worry, there is a streak called the personal UAV, which will only cost you 3 kills in a row to get. If you use the perk hardline, it's only going to cost you 2 kills in a row to get. So in a way, you can keep getting these personal UAVs and kind of consistently keep the minimap on for yourself. But I really do feel like that this is something that we can adjust to. It won't be that much of a problem, but of course, I feel like that there will still be people out there who probably not like this change as much, but let's be honest, this sort of change is at least more bearable than something like jetpacks coming to the franchise. Just saying. And then overall, like I said earlier, the graphics look amazing in my opinion. The new cyber attack mode looks like it's a lot of fun. The 20 versus 20 mode looks very interesting. I do want to try it out, but it looks a lot like Battlefield in my opinion. And a lot of YouTubers who played this kind of said that they didn't enjoy it because there was issues sometimes with spawns. Sometimes it felt like that, it took too long to find people to kind of go up against. Maybe there was a lot of camping. So I kind of feel iffy on this one based off of the reception that it's been getting. But overall, I'm still very interested to try it out. And I'm still kind of, mind blown that we actually have a 20v20 mode in the multiplayer. So at the end of the day, it's still a cool idea in my opinion, but I really want to go ahead and try it out for myself. And then in the end, it still looks like a Call of Duty title. It looks like it still plays like a Call of Duty title, just with upgraded graphics and a slightly new engine, which is something that, let's be honest, a lot of us have been asking for. And it's kind of like a huge sigh of relief as well, because when we were watching the 2v2 gunfight game modes a couple of weeks ago, it kind of felt clunky. It felt like it was Rainbow Six Siege that we were watching, but for some reason it looks a lot more smoother now with the regular traditional multiplayer modes, which is, like I said, a huge sigh of relief. And then some final things that I want to go ahead and talk about before I wrap up today's video is a few concerns and a few things that I'm actually happy to hear about. So for example, I'm glad to hear that the DLC maps will be free for everyone and that there will be no season pass. I know this was confirmed a while back, but man, it still sounds very nice to hear the developers say themselves once again that the maps post-launch will be free, and I'm glad that we will not be fragmented and the community will still be playing in like the same pool of lobbies, because all of us will have the same maps at the end of the day. Another thing that made me really happy to hear was that crossplay was working perfectly fine in this pre-alpha stage. It was working perfectly fine back in May when some of these YouTubers got to play back then. So in a way, what I'm trying to say is that crossplay will most likely be there on the day of launch when this game comes out in October. Fingers crossed nothing goes wrong, but from what it looks like right now, we're going to be getting crossplay day one when this game comes out, and that is awesome to hear. Now, these were just some of the things that I saw from the overall gameplay that I found really positive, but at the same time, like I said, I am concerned about a few things, and when it comes down to it, I feel like that this game has the potential to end up becoming too campy. And what I mean by that is, think about it, right? We have no minimap, we have no incentive to play the objectives anymore since score streaks have been replaced by kill streaks, and at the end of the day, when it comes to something like the 10v10 or the 20v20 modes, the YouTubers who got to play already said it felt way too campy with, you know, just them playing, and these are pub stompers at the end of the day who are playing, competitive Call of Duty players who are playing. So even if they were a little bit more active and not as campy, let's be honest, the majority of the Call of Duty community most likely will be. So I hope that these changes that they decided to bring into Modern Warfare doesn't create that campy type of environment in most of the lobbies that we get into. So that's just one of the concerns I do have. Another concern that I have is performance issues. I know that this game looks very polished right now and it looks amazing as these YouTubers were playing it, but we got to remember they were playing on LAN, and at the same time we are getting a beta in September, so that means they do want to go ahead and test for bugs, for any issues they might have, and I hope those issues don't carry over after the game launches, sort of like how Black Ops 4 did with the zombies mode, where it would just go into like a blue screen every single time people tried completing an Easter egg. That was a nightmare for the zombies community, and it was just a nightmare for the game in general. So I hope something like that doesn't end up happening for Modern Warfare. And then when it comes down to something like microtransactions, I hope that they're not egregious, because that is the one thing that will kill this game. That's what killed Black Ops 4 for me and for a lot of other people out there. The gameplay was pretty decent for the most part. It's just the microtransactions and having post-launch content being put into these loot boxes and this supply drop system. Yeah, that pretty much led Black Ops 4 to an early grave, and I do not want that happening with Modern Warfare. So I'm kind of nervous to see what they're going to do with these microtransactions, especially since there's no season pass and they are going to want to make the money up for that. So that's something that unfortunately we'll just have to see until the game comes out and see what happens even after a few months from launch. And then finally, one last concern I have is the post-launch content. Infinity Ward looks like they're giving us something that looks very promising, but at the end of the day, that's exactly what Treyarch did as well with Black Ops 4, and I remember how hyped people were when that community reveal event was going on and how happy everybody was with what Black Ops 4 was looking like it's going to offer. But then what ended up happening? We got barely any content versus what we were promised, and a lot of the content that did came in a way where it just made players unhappy to the point where they left the game and put a very bad taste in these players' mouths. So like I said, the way they handle post-launch content and the amount of post-launch content that they give us, that really matters. And I hope that we end up getting some system like World War II gave us, where there's contracts, there's orders, there's daily challenges, daily login bonuses. We need that kind of stuff, and I feel like when it comes to those kinds of things, those are a staple that should be part of every Call of Duty game from here on out. We need stuff to do every day when we log into the game, which keeps the longevity of the game going for a while, and it keeps us busy until, I don't know, the next Call of Duty title comes, or even after that. So I hope they go ahead and implement those past systems that have worked really well in past Call of Duty titles and even in some of their own games. So that's just some of the concerns I do have at the end of the day, and I feel like these concerns are just concerns that come with Call of Duty in general now. So I hope that they go ahead and take a look at these concerns that people are voicing their opinions about, and hopefully at the end of the day, Modern Warfare can be one of those games that kind of find the solution to some of these problems. But overall, you guys, that's pretty much all I have for you guys in today's video. At the end of the day, I am very excited for Modern Warfare. I cannot wait to play the beta in September, and of course I can't wait to play the game in October October when it comes out for all of us. And now that I'm done talking in this very long video that I did not expect to be this long, I want to hear it from you guys now. What do you guys think about Modern Warfare's multiplayer? How do you feel? What are your first impressions like? What's going on in your mind? Is there anything that you want to go ahead and discuss about that I didn't cover in today's video? Go ahead and leave all of those thoughts in the comment section below. I would love to hear them if you guys want to go ahead and share them. But with that said, that's pretty much all I have for you guys in today's video. So if you guys enjoyed it, please go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe, click the bell icon so you'll never miss an upload, and follow me on my social media accounts to stay connected. Links will always be in the description below, and I will go ahead and talk to you guys in the next one. So take care of yourselves, and bye.